If you're thinking about starting a video production company or going freelance as a videographer, or perhaps you've already done those things, but you're desperate to try and scale your business as quickly and as efficiently as possible while trying to avoid all of the common mistakes that cost people their businesses sometimes, then in this video, I'm gonna be giving you my top 5 strategies on how that you can successfully do this. And some of these things are the things that people most commonly get stuck on or struggle with on my course until they learn the strategies needed to overcome them and continue growing their businesses to the next level and beyond. There's gonna be absolutely no fluff in this video, so let's jump straight into the valuable content that you can take away with you right now. Okay, so the first one is a triple whammy. We're talking websites, emails, and social media pages. And I'm gonna put this all in one because it's a really, really important item and people somehow mess this up completely. Now, the biggest objection or the biggest problem that we get when we see people come into our course, the Perspective Academy, is that they still are using an email, which is videoproductioncompany@gmail.com or at outlook.co.uk or whatever it is, but it's not a proper business email address. And the objection they have is the fact that it costs them £3 a month to have Google host their email address, or they buy a domain or whatever, and they don't want to commit that because they're not sure if it's going to be a business venture. Firstly, brands are not going to take you seriously if you're emailing them at freelancevideographer@gmail.com. You need to address that straight away, and you're going to have a huge impact, a huge positive impact on your response rates when you're doing outreach, which I'll talk to you about later on, spoiler alert. Obviously, if you are getting a domain name, then that also links to your website. So that means that you can have your name at business.com.co.uk, wherever you are in the world. Then you can set up your website, use something super simple like Squarespace. You haven't got to spend thousands of pounds on this stuff. You can literally just spend like $10, $15 a month or whatever it is. Just pick a nice easy template, keep it simple, and just put relevant information on there. Even if it's a one-pager, have something that makes your business look like it's a legit business and that it's not a scam. And you might be laughing now, but you'll be surprised at how many people do those first 2 things wrong and then wonder why they can't get any work. It's because you look like you're scamming them, mate. So get your website sorted, make that look really nice, and also get a proper email address. Now, social media is a little bit easier. Just make sure if you're thinking of a business name and you're not sure, don't worry, you can always change this later on, but check that the handles are available to begin with. And when you're posting on social media, just keep the content relevant. Show behind the scenes work, show work that you're currently producing at the moment. I'm gonna be talking to you more about those things later on as well. But ultimately, don't post photos of you down the pub with your friends or having a laugh or whatever, and then trying to be serious when you're emailing people to try and get work. It's not going to work. Keep business for business, personal for personal. Emails, websites, social media, biggest mistakes that people make, which stops them growing their business straight away. Tip number 4, I don't know why I did that, that's 3. That's 3 again. Tip number 4, we're getting there. This is something that amazes me, but I did this exact same thing. In fact, everything I talked to you about today, I've done. I've just had to learn the hard way. There was no one on YouTube teaching people the business side of filmmaking who had successful video production companies and knew what they were talking about. So you guys are in a great position because you can learn from my mistakes and ultimately surpass us much quicker, or at least grow to where we are as a 6-figure business working for global clients in a much quicker period of time too. But this is to outreach daily. I used to literally sit by the phone thinking like, oh, it's been a quiet month, yeah, hopefully someone will like phone through with some work at some point. You actively have to go out there and get the work. It's not gonna come to you because if you're starting out, guess what? No one knows that you do video production. Your friends and family probably just think that you take a couple of photos and it's nothing too serious. And trust me, they'll think that until you've got a multi-6-figure business. So if you want work, you need to go out there and gill it, and you need to email people daily. Connect with businesses on social media. Drop them a message. Hey, interested in working together? I'm a video production company, etc. This is what I do. Have a conversation. Start those conversations with people. Email businesses in your local area. I featured this on the video recently called If I Started a Video Production Company in 2022, I'd Do This. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Tons of valuable information. It's a long one, but it's packed full of stuff that you can take away with you. And at the very end of that video, I show you exactly how to use a Google outreach strategy to find emails from businesses so that you can connect with them. But ultimately, Do this daily. Reach out to people, because it's not until you've got 10, 20, 30 clients that the work does come flooding through the door every single day. Until you build up to that point, you really need to put in the hard work to go out there and do that. Tip number 3 kind of follows on with the outreach, is networking. The power of going to networking events and actually physically meeting people. There's tons and tons of small groups. So here in the UK, there's probably about 10 in my local area. There will be like this all across the world, whether you're in America, or you're in Australia, Canada, wherever you are, there are going to be networking groups. They're where like-minded people who want to grow their businesses meet up, normally in the morning or in the evening, after work or before work. You'll go to a group and you'll chat to other business people who are looking to grow their businesses. It's where a lot of work gets passed around, and it's not even about who is in that room that is going to use you. It's about who they might know. Someone might be talking to you and they might say, oh, actually, a friend of mine's just started a business and they could do with some video content. Can I put you guys in touch? So it's really, really powerful. And if I had done that from day one, there's no doubt we would have made way more sales, got way more clients, and grown at a much quicker rate. So you need to keep stepping outside that comfort zone. Over time, like elastic band, that comfort zone will grow and grow and grow, so you become more confident. But put yourself into these situations, because ultimately your business won't grow if you can't get a little bit uncomfortable, talk to businesses and try to make some sales. Trust me, you don't need to be a salesperson. I'm 100% not a salesperson. I hate it. I get really worried. I get really nervous and scared. But through a lot of tips and strategies that we now teach on my course, it's enabled me to learn these things and just understand how businesses work, so I can do a much better job of not selling my services, but providing the solutions to other businesses' problems. Now, we're just over halfway through this video, and for those of you who stay till the end, I've got a bonus tip that you do not want to miss. It's called our swap strategy, and I'm going to be explaining to you, if you're starting out or you're trying to move into a new industry to make more money, how you can use this strategy no matter if you're a complete beginner or the most experienced person on this planet. If you are getting value from this video right now, then let us know. Hit the subscribe button, join the community, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. Is there anything you're struggling with right now, or is there anything you would like to see us create on this channel? And ultimately, it's free. We'd really appreciate it. Now, tip number 2 is a saying that I feel like I say a lot to newcomers to our course who inevitably have found themselves in this situation. And I always say, get the best clients first and then get the best equipment. It breaks my heart that so many people literally spend their savings, they go into debt, they put it on a credit card just to get the latest equipment. And often that's to do with imposter syndrome. You can produce good quality work at the level you're at. Even if you're at a beginner, you will be able to produce good quality work for a beginner. If you're an expert, you'll be able to produce good quality work for an expert. Yes, equipment does come into it, but it comes into it more so later. When you're starting out, honestly, just don't invest in the best equipment. Get what you can, but leave enough money in the bank, because you will have those peaks and troughs where one month's really busy and the other month is really quiet, and you need to account for both of them. Unless you're using something like the RCP system, I've mentioned this before, check out the training in the link below, where that system's going to enable you to provide a consistent, predictable cash flow. But if you don't have that in your business right now, then don't go spending all your money on equipment. Make do with what you can. We've always been ahead of the curve. We've never been into any debt with equipment, because what we've always managed to do is we've secured the project first. So we've got that money guaranteed coming in. Then we've bought the equipment to make that project even better, to make our work easier, to make our work better quality, all of those things. We only do it once we know we've got the money coming in, all the money's sitting in the bank. And there's nothing worse than speaking to people who just sign up to the academy saying, Ross, I literally am really struggling, I've got no work on, and I've got so many bills because I've got to pay for all of this equipment. It's the irony of it is there's nothing you can do. You've just got to work twice as hard to try and bring yourself out of that place. So if you're starting out, get yourself something that's adequate, that something does an okay job, but don't put yourself into debt and don't stretch yourself when it comes to equipment. Get the best clients first, then the best equipment. Now, tip number 1, if you've made it this far, then congratulations to you for investing in your learning. There are unfortunately a lot of people out there who won't try to invest in the business side of filmmaking, and then they will wonder why they become a starving artist, because they're able to produce really good quality work, but they're not able to get any clients. I'm definitely not the best videographer out there, but it's my business knowledge and understanding all of the things that I teach on this channel is the reason we've been able to produce a very successful video production company with a photographer photography studio with a team of people working for global clients all around the world. So tip number 1, portfolio is king. Now, before you click off this video because you're saying, Ross, well, I've just started out, so I've got no portfolio. I have no idea how to speak to customers because ultimately I've got no portfolio to show them. What do I do? Then this is where our bonus tip comes in as well. And like I said, this bonus tip is specifically to help anyone who is looking to move into a new industry, whether you're a complete beginner or experienced. This will help you. And it's what we call our swap strategy. So our portfolio is absolutely king because if we're talking to businesses, we want to show them our track record. And ultimately, that's what makes our sales process now so easy because we can show them any video from any industry because we've got a nice diverse portfolio of high quality work. We can show them something that resonates with that customer. They say, yep, we want something like that, but with our own little twist. They sign off the check to us and then we're good for that project. But it hasn't always been that way. So when you're starting out, you don't always have to do work for free to build up your portfolio. And what I would suggest is using something like the swap strategy. We've used this when we move into a new industry. So before we moved into food and beverage, we didn't have any kind of experience in that industry. We didn't have a portfolio to show people. And we came up against the same problems that you guys face. So we were emailing people, we were outreaching to them, and we were saying, you know, we can do these kind of things for you. We'd send them inspiration as well. So we'd send them other videos and say we could do something similar to this. But a lot of the time they wanted to see exactly what we were able to produce, which is completely understandable. Again, you don't want them thinking you're a scam. You want to show them this is the work that I've done and this is why it would work really well for you. So we used the swap strategy, where we literally said, instead of doing it for free, we would do some kind of swap of the equivalent value. And through this method, I've been able to secure £5,000 worth of high-end watches in return for video content. So it meant that we weren't completely out of pocket. So yes, we're doing the work, I guess, for free. There's no money passing hands, but they're able to send us the products. A lot of companies are what we say product rich, cash poor, which means they don't have much cash in the bank to spend, but they do have a lot of product. So they were able to send us a load of watches. We were able to sell them on eBay to make a bit of money back as well as giving a few away and keeping some for ourselves. But we were able to exchange a mix of services. So you do a swap, you produce a really good video, and then they come back to you and say, hey, we really like that. Can you do more for us? And you say, I can, but it's got to be paid from this point onwards because ultimately free of charge stuff doesn't pay the bills. And they'll go, yeah, absolutely get that. You guys can come up with a deal between you, whatever, you talk day rates, you go down the rest of it. And before you know it, you've got new clients that you've never had before in a new industry you've never been in before. And it's really as easy as that. If you thought that this was useful, then definitely check out this video here. I mentioned it earlier on in the video and it's packed full of valuable information. Or check out this one if you're unsure what to do when you manage to set a meeting with a client. Until next time, peace.